45 to verse number 48. And Jesus said, "Who touched me?" And when all denied, Peter and they that were with him said, "Master, the multitude throng thee and press thee, and sayest thou, Who touched me?" And Jesus said, "Somebody had touched me, for I perceive that virtue is gone out of me." And when the woman saw that she was not hit, she came trembling and falling down before him. She declared unto him before all the people for what cause she had touched him, and how she was healed immediately. And he said unto her, "Daughter, be of good comfort, thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace." The first thing I want you to see this morning, and I want to encourage you for this year 2022, is that if you're going to touch Jesus, let it be a genuine touch, a sincere touch. The Bible tells us that this woman had the infirmity for 12 years. And she tried and she tried and she tried every other things that she know of. And the Bible tells us nothing helped her. And the Bible tells us she was left with a bill. Her life was hopeless. Her life was messed up, truly. But then she heard about Jesus. And she said within herself that if I can only touch the hem of his garment, I will be made whole. And the Bible tells us, and when the crowd was there and the multitudes were around Jesus, the Bible says she came and touched the hem of his garment. And the scripture said immediately she received her healing. What was the victory in this? When she touched Jesus, she touched him genuinely. She touched him with faith. She touched him that she can move him. You see, and that is what God wants for you, from you this morning, in this year 2022. If you're going to ask God for anything for this year 2022, let it be genuine. Let it not be a lip-sync thing. Let it not be something that you know that you doubt about. Because when it is a lipstick or a lip service thing, and it is not genuine from your heart, then you will not receive it from the Lord. And we see here that this woman came to Jesus and she touched him with faith in her heart. And Jesus felt that touch, because it wasn't his hand that she touched, it was the garment that he touched. And the Bible tells us power went out and she was healed immediately. It is for you to understand this morning, for this year 2022, let your touch toward Jesus be genuine. And when it is genuine, then you will receive your blessing. Don't let it be a touch of doubt. Don't let it be a touch of, man, it is not for me. No, let it be something genuine. Let it be sincere. And the Bible says when it is sincere, it will come to pass. And we see in this story here that this woman's life was changed immediately because she touched Jesus. And when she touched him with sincerity, with genuineness, and the Bible tells us she received her blessing. You see, there were many people around Jesus in that day, because Peter even established the fact that many people were touching him, but many were not receiving any healing. Can you imagine? Many people were not receiving any victory. But you see, when this woman touched Jesus, the Bible said she touched him with faith, and immediately she received her healing. So the first thing for the year 2022, let each and every one of us, when we're going to pray, ask Jesus for anything, let it be something genuine. Let it be sincere from our heart. And let us expect to have it. And the Bible tells us when you expect to have it, you will receive it. So that's the first thing I want you to see this morning. The second thing I want you to see is in Luke chapter number 8 and verse number 39. You all know the story. A man was demon-possessed. And the Bible tells us when Jesus came into town, the demons brought this man to Jesus. You see, that's another thing right there. You don't think that, we think that we are some big thing. But look at the story here. Demons brought this man to Jesus. Sometimes the demons thought, what they are doing, they're going to hurt somebody, but they brought the man to Jesus. And the Bible tells us, and Jesus set this man free. And this man was, excited. He was so joyous. But look at what Jesus said to him. In Luke chapter number 8 and verse number 39, he said, "Return to thine own house and show how great things God had done unto thee." And the Bible tells us, and he went his way, and he published throughout the whole city how great things Jesus had done for him. This year, 2022, you need to testify of all the good things that God has done for you. 2021 is gone, but God has been so good to you. God has been so gracious to you. God has been so merciful to you. God has saved you. God has given you a new name in glory. Jesus has caused you to come and die and sit at this table. Then you need to also testify of God's goodness throughout this year 2022. And he said, return to thine own house and show how great things God has done for you. And the Bible tells us as he was going home, he began to testify. He began to let people know how good things and great things God has done for him. Can you imagine his life was messed up? Can you imagine this man? His life was so messed up that they would try to chain him down and get him under control. But they couldn't control him. But when he met Jesus, the Bible tells us Jesus set him free. And Jesus gave him a new beginning, a new life. And so he said to him, you know what? You go home and you return to thy house and tell how great things God has done for you. This year, 2022, is a new beginning for you. But when you begin with this year, testify of how good God is being to you. Don't look at the small things that's not been going good in your life, but return and see how good things God has done for you, and you will see how God is going to bless you. And the Bible tells us immediately he began to testify and to publish throughout all the city how good things God has done for him through his son Jesus. So this year 2022, testify of God's goodness day after day. Every day you wake up, you testify of God's goodness. Every morning you wake up, every night you go to sleep, thank God for his goodness, for his mercy, for his grace. Testify of his goodness. And the Bible tells us he will see you through. Let us move on to 1 Corinthians chapter number 14 and verse number 33. Not only you are to testify of his goodness, but this is what you need to do also. So first of all, if you're going to touch Jesus, pray and ask Jesus for anything for this year, make sure that it is genuine, it is sincere. If you come with doubting, then it better not you come in his presence, because you will not move him. But another thing is that testify of his goodness. And the third thing I want you to see this morning is in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter number 14 and verse number 33. The Bible said here, for God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints. So Paul is saying to the church at Corinth, now there were a lot of confusion going on in the church. This one was trying to speak in tongue, and that one was trying to speak in tongue, and there's too much of confusion, too much in the church. And Paul said that, listen, God is not a God of confusion. God is a God of order. God is a God of, peace, and as in all churches of the saints. So that is what you must understand. God is not a God of confusion. He's a God of peace. God is a God of, order. And so this morning, I want to encourage you for this year, 2022. Get your life in order. That is what you need to do. You need to get your life in order. Get yourself together. Get your family together. And get yourself in order, your life in order, your family in order. And then is when you will see God working in your life. Now, you can have your church life in order, but your life is not in order with your family, your friends, then you're missing out on the great blessing that God has in store for us. Get your life in order, first with God, first with the things of God, with your family and with your friends. And then you will see God blessing. Let me give you an example here from the book of 2 Kings, chapter number 18. We will look here what you need to do. Get your life in order. When there's confusion in your life, then God cannot work. And if this year you do not set your life in order, God cannot work, and God will not work, because you're too confused with yourself. You do not know what to do, and you create more problem than you are solving the problem. Let me show you from the book of 2 Kings, chapter number 18. 2 Kings, chapter number 18. And this is what I want you to see here. 2 Kings, chapter number 18. Now, you all know the story of King Ahab. Now, King Ahab was a wicked king. And he was so wicked that in his days, this is what he did. He caused the children of Israel to go against God. And the Bible tells us he sinned against God and he causes the people to sin against God. And God was angry with him. And you all know the story. The Bible tells us he stopped the people of going to Jerusalem to serve God. So wicked was he. He built images and God slew him. And God took him away from the throne. Now, what you need to do, I love what Hezekiah did. The Bible tells us Hezekiah became king. Now, he was, after a certain period of time, he became king. Most of the king that went after Ahab, they continue in the footsteps of King Ahab. And the Bible tells us it didn't work out good. But Hezekiah became king. And this is what he did. You need to get your life in order. If you want God to bless you in this year 2022, then you need to get your life in order. Get yourself together and let go of things that may hinder you in your life. You need to let go, like Brother Melvin was saying, let go of some friends. Let go of probably some family members. Let go of some things that will just mess up your life. Let it go. And the Bible said God will bless you. Look here, in verse number 1. Now it came to pass in the 3rd year of 2 King chapter number 18 and verse number 1, that the Bible said, now it came to pass in the 3rd year of Hosea, son of Elah, king of Israel, that Hezekiah, the son of Ahaz, king of Judah, began to reign. So we see that Hezekiah became king. Now this is the first thing that he did. The Bible tells us 25 years old was he when he began to reign. Now this was very young. Think about it, you get power at such a young age. What will happen? Nowadays, one of my workers, he said if he have money, the first thing he will do, he will buy a nice car and a big house, and he will drive and show off. Beloved, that is not a good thing. But so we see here that this boy was 25 years of age, and he could show off, he could get all the women he wanted. He could get all the, do what he wanted. But look at what he did. Being young is good. Being young is a tremendous thing. I want it to be ever young. I don't know about you. If I can stay, if time can stick, and I'm at the age of 25 and stay there for the rest of my life, then it will be good, because it is such a beautiful thing to be young. But being young doesn't always mean that you need to misuse the opportunity. And the Bible tells us, because now when you get old and you're getting age, and stepping into age, everything happened, Then this happened, that happened. And we see here, 25 years old was he when he began to reign, in verse number 2. And he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. Now this was very long to reign, to be king. And his mother name was Abi, the daughter of Zechariah. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord. You see, he set things in order. All the kings before him, they were evilers, most of them. But we see here that the Bible said, and he did what was right in the sight of the Lord, according to all that David, his father, did. Now, I love this. There's something that triggered this young man, and that was David. Make sure that you are an example to your son and to your daughter. Let your existence trigger them, that they will want to serve God and do what is right. David wasn't a perfect guy, but he had some character, he had some dedication in him that triggered this young man, that he will walk in the eyes and in the sight of the Lord. And that is what you need to do. Be an example for your sons. Be an example to your daughters. Be an example to somebody that when they look at you, they are triggered and they will say, you know what? I want to serve God. I want to bless God together with his brother or with his sister because of that person in my life. And so we see here, David was a blessing to him. Now this is what he did. And he removed the high places and break the images and cut down the groves. You cannot be king and you go on with disorder in your life. You cannot be king and you want God's blessing to be in your life and you keep on doing what is wrong. You need to clean up your life. And how can you clean it up? You need to get rid of things that will hinder the blessing of God to come into your life. And the Bible said, and he removed, in verse number 4, he removed the high places and break the images and cut down the groves and break in pieces the brazen serpent that Moses had made. You see, the serpent was there and he broke it, because now what happened? They were looking up to the serpent like a big thing now, instead upon God. And the Bible tells us, and he, for unto those days the children of Israel did but burn incense to it. You see, they were worshiping this thing now. Instead they worship God, they were burning incense to the brazen serpent. And the Bible tells us, and he called in Nehushtan, that's a difficult name, and he trusted in the Lord God of Israel, so that after him was none like him among all that the king of Judah, nor any that went before him. For he clave to the Lord, and departed not from following him, but kept his commandments, which the Lord commanded Moses. And the Bible tells us, look at what happened. And the Lord went with him. And what happened? And he what? And he prospered whithersoever he went forth. And he rebelled against the king of Assyria, and served him not. You need to get your life in order. The Bible tells us it's a blessing when you get your life in order. It's a good thing to get your life in order. Because when you get your life in order for God, and God get the glory out of it, the Bible said this is what's going to happen. The Lord is going to be with you. Not only that, the Lord is going to cause you to prosper. Now, prospering doesn't mean only you get money. God will open doors for you. God will give you the peace that passeth all understanding. And we see here in this story that this young man, you know, he had so much courage that he removed his mother from the throne. So much courage he had. Don't estimate how much courage this young man had. The Bible tells us he refused to worship the king and serve the king of Assyria. He refused that because you know why? He get his life in order. And the Bible tells us, and look at what happened. When he get himself in order, the kingdom in order, God began to bless him. God began to bless him. When you start to get some friends out of your life that is hindering you from getting your blessing, you will see how God will open the windows of heaven and shower his blessing upon you. Because the Bible said, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. And so we see this young man decided, you know what, I'm not going to take the counsel of the ungodly. I'm not going to sit in the seat of the scornful. I'm not going to stand in the way of sinners. That is what he did. And the Bible tells us, and he let go. He break down the groves. He chopped down the brazen serpent because they were worshiping this thing now, instead worshiping God. And the Bible tells us he get things in order. And that is what you need to do for the year 2022. Now, 21, it was a messed up year probably for many of you. I do not know, and I pray that it wasn't. But let's say it was messed up. You need to look why it was messed up. Was it messed up because of the pastor? Was it messed up because of you making money? Look at it again and look at it carefully and say, you know what? It is messed up because I have not cleaned up. I have not let go of my attitude. I have not let go of my wicked way of living. I have not let go of my wrong behavior. And this year, I want God to bless me. I want my family to be blessed. I want my son to be blessed. I want my daughter to be blessed. I want my church to be blessed. I want everything that I touch is to be blessed. And how can it be blessed? You need to get your life in order. And the Bible tells us he got his life in order. Another example I want you to see is in the book of 2 Samuel, chapter number 6. Get yourself in order. Don't play no big thing. It messed up last year, no worry. You still have this year. Get your life in order. Begin today and start the cleaning up. Now, look at what happened. Most of us here, I don't think anybody here are without a house. We all have a roof over our head, right? Now, I don't know, Shirley swept the house today. She wiped the house today. She cleared on it, the cupboard. She, go like a little anaconda on it, the cupboard. She clean up, does everything. But she tried to do the cleaning one day. And then next day again, she does the cleaning. So I will tell her, girl, yesterday you do such a wipe in the house. You clean the house like this, you get so much dust. And again, you're doing a cleaning up today. Can you rest? She said, no, I need to clean the house. So she will sweep the house again, and let's say little dust like this will show up. And she will say, you know what, you see, dust is here. That's why I need to wipe the house again and clean the house again today. You see, and then again, and again, and again, and again. You understand? The cleaning up process is not a one-day thing. Oh, I'm going to clean, I'm going to make it right with my wife, my son, my daughter, and you think it's finished. No, you have to do that every day. You have to do the cleaning up every day. You need to knock out some things out of your life, some lumps out of your life, because if you don't knock them out, you're going to fall into disaster. And we see here that Hezekiah did exactly the same thing. He got his life in order. And God himself said, when Hezekiah time was ready, God said to him, get your life in order, you're going to die. God himself said that to him. You see, you need to get your life in order. And when you get your life in order, God is going to bless. And because he got his life in order, you know what God did to him? God extended 15 more years. Can you imagine? Live 15 years more. You know, when all your enemies think that you will die, when your enemies think that you will not make it, when your enemies think, all right, now's the end, then you see God blessing in your life. 2 Samuel, chapter number 6. And let us spend some time here. The Bible tells us in 2 Samuel, chapter number 6. You know, and look at verse number 1. And the Bible said, and David gathered all in verse number 1. And again, David gathered together all the chosen men of Israel, 30,000. And David arose and went with all the people that were with him from Baal, Valley of Judah, to bring up from them the ark of God, whose name is called by the name of the Lord of hosts, that dwelleth between the cherubims. So David became king. This is the first thing that he did. All the other king was not concerned about the ark of the covenant. They were not concerned about the presence of God. And the Bible tells us when David became king, this is the first thing he decided he's going to do. So he chose 30,000 men and said, let us go up and bring the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant is a representation, like he said, the presence of God. And it was so holy for the children of Israel. But the Ark of the Covenant was not with the children of Israel. Isn't that sad? So David became king. So what David did, he said, I'm going to do some cleaning up. I'm going to do some cleaning up. And what I need to do is first, I need to get God into my life. If you want cleaning up in your life to take place, you will need God first in your life. It is not going to happen by the strength of man, by your money, by your wisdom. No, it will be happening with the presence of God in your life. And the Bible tells us, and the ark, and they set the ark of God upon a new cart. Now this is what he did. He meant it good, but his beginning was wrong. And the Bible tells us, and he brought it out of the house of Abinadab, that was in Gibeah. And Uzziah and Ayo, the son of Abinadab, drave the new cart. So David said, all right, we're going to bring the Ark of the Covenant home. So he bought a new cart and he put the Ark of the Covenant upon it to save some time. And you read the chapter when you go home. The Bible tells us, and they were going and they were dancing and they were excited, you know, because he's bringing home the Ark of the Covenant. But the donkey or the cow or the ox, you know, he was going down a hill and he was going to fall. And the Ark of the Covenant was going to fall. And the Bible tells us then those that were carrying the ark, or they tried to keep back the ark from falling. And the Bible tells us God slew them. And God destroyed them. And the Bible tells us when David saw that, David was displeased within himself. David said, how can this happen? He meant it good. He wanted to bring God back into the lives of the children of Israel, but only he did it the wrong way. And the Bible tells us, and God showed him what he did. You know what David did? It is no time to get angry with God. It's time to get your life in order. And David did it the right way. Then is when he did it, how he took the Ark of the Covenant, and the men were carrying the Ark of the Covenant. And the Bible said, and David danced for the Lord. And he was excited, he was joyous. Because you know why? He did what was right in the eyes of God. You need to get your life in order. And you might begin good, but sometimes it doesn't always, it's not according to the will of God. You might know some Bible verses in the Bible. You should love thy neighbor as thyself. You should not hate anybody. It's a good thing, but you need to get yourself in order. And we see here from the Bible that David, when God slew these men that were trying to keep back the ark of God, ark of the covenant of God to fall down, the Bible tells us he was angry. But when God showed him what he did was wrong and what he need to do and how he need to do it, the Bible tells us then he get his life in order. And that is what you need to do for this year 2022. Get your life in order. Don't let, no kind of big time attitude keep you back from getting yourself in order. Clean up yourself. Just like every housewife here cleans their house every day, morning, afternoon. That is the way you need to get yourself in order with God. And the Bible said, and when you get your life in order, don't you want to be blessed this morning, church? Don't you want to be blessed this morning? Don't you want to get healing this morning? Don't you want to be, to have the peace of God that passes all understanding? Don't you want to get health, strength, wisdom, prosperity? Don't you want your children them to be good, healthy, strong, and grow up to be young men that love God? Well, God said it in His Word. You need to get yourself in order. Get your life in order. And the Bible tells us, and when you get your life in order, do what is right. In other words, do what is right in the eyes of God. Do what pleases God. And when you do what pleases God, God is going to be with you. God is going to, prosper you. That doesn't mean you become a perfect person. No. What it means is God is going to be with you. God is going to bless you. God is going to open doors for you. God is going to bless you with whatever He wanted to bless you with. But do what is right in the eyes of God. And the Bible tells us, and Hezekiah did it, and David did it, and the presence of God came in. And you know what happened? David was excited, and he was glowing, and he was happy, and he was so excited about the presence of God, because you know why? He got his life in order. In closing the service this morning, David, again, you see, he had to do a cleaning up. This was the first cleaning up he did. Another time, he went to fight a war. And the Bible tells us, and God struck him, that he didn't get any victory. And the Bible tells us, he realized that something is wrong in this, in his life. So he decided, you know what? He need to find out. And God tell him that, listen, it's all because of Saul and what he did to some people that he promised that he's going to protect. Of what he did, that's why I'm not going to bless you. So David got himself in order. And God gave him couple options also. And the Bible tells us the sons of Saul was hung on a tree. And then is when the curse was stopped. To show you this morning, you need to get your life in order. Get rid of things that hinders you. Is it friend? Is it some family members? Like Brother Melvin was saying, it is hard to get rid of some people in your life. Especially if the people them have some money. Some big shot friends. If they have money, it's hard to tell them, boy, don't come back to my house. Or we don't want to be friends. It's very difficult because when they leave also with the euro. And they leave also with the US. But when you want God to bless you, then it's gonna, like Brother Ken here, I can't tell him to get out of my life. Because if I tell him that, he will leave with all the gold and all the diamond and all the silver. And I don't want, he's my brother in the Lord, so I will keep him. But there are some people in your life, man, they will just mess up you. Mess up you. Mess up you. So, get your life in order. Tell them bye-bye, swai. It's not easy. Not easy. But do what is right.